Hey everyone, welcome back to another great episode of More Than Before. I'm Nathan Cook and I'm excited to spend some time with you today. Hey, if you're new to the podcast, welcome. You might be thinking, hey, who's this Nathan Cook guy? He sounds good. You're right, I do. It's the microphone. But hey, I've been doing personal growth development for over a decade now. I've focused with businesses and individuals to help them grow their leadership, their communication, help them learn how to connect well with other people, how to play nice in the sandbox of life. And I'm excited to spend some time with you today. The purpose of this podcast is to help you become more than before, to be more of who you're created to be. And I believe the best way to do that is to add value to you. That's one of my goals in life, is to add value to people so that they can be more than before. This last week, I was reflecting. I was thinking about, why is it there are some people that just grow really fast, right? There's people that grow. I grow. And then there's people that are like on steroids of growth. Like what they grow really fast. They get really good results, like fast results, it appears. And as I started to reflect on this, I came to a thought. And it's not the thought, but it is a thing that is going to help you. And so I want to discuss that with you today. I want to break it down with you. I've got 4 ways here of how you can take ownership of your life. Now, why ownership? Because I think a lot of people don't take ownership in their life. People that are growth oriented, people that grow really fast, they have like extreme ownership. They have extreme ownership in their life. They take responsibility for everything, even the things that you and I might look at and we go, well, why would you take responsibility for that? It's because if you can take responsibility for something, that means that you can change it. You can control some aspect of it. Now, you can't control everything in life, right? But there are things that we can do to influence. So today I want to give you 4 things that you can do to start taking back ownership in your life. Number 1, we are going to start executing. We're going to execute in our life. It's so funny how many people that I work with will come to a coaching call and they'll say, Nathan, I wasn't able to do what I said I was going to do. And I say, well, why weren't you able to do it? And then there's a plethora of excuses. No excuse is a good excuse. I hope you get that. There is no such thing as a good excuse. If you set your intention to do something, you should do it. In fact, the Bible says that. Let your yes be yes and your no's be no. Commit to it. Make the action steps and do it. There's something about this, the idea of excuses. They sound really good. Why can't we get up and work out in the morning? Well, I'm just too tired. It's really hard, Nathan. Every time I go to the gym, my body cries. I know, mine sweats too. If we could stop making excuses in our life and start executing, we're going to see better results. We're going to start to see improvement in our life. And I think that's one of the great areas that we can start to improve, that we can take back this ownership piece of our life, is to start executing. Stop making excuses and start executing. Number 2, consistency. It's not sexy, that's for sure. But consistency over time compounds. You see, a lot of people, they're inconsistent. They want one big push. They're waiting for the one big idea, the one big program that they're going to buy that is going to make their life better. There's programs that are out there that, they'll make a good dent in your life, but they're not going to change your life. Transformation in your life, growth in your life happens daily, not in a day. And I think that many of us, we look at other people and it's really easy to look at them and say, well, look, they became an overnight success, an instant success. They made the right decision, the best decision, which got them to where they are. One of my favorite people to watch is Mr. Beast. I love Mr. Beast videos, but not for the reason that most people do. Like, yeah, he has entertaining videos. And if you don't know who he is, he's a YouTuber. He's probably one of the highest paid, most popular, most watched YouTubers of all time. And if you go and you watch his videos, they're very engaging. And you might think, man, like this guy came out of nowhere. But what's interesting is I love looking at the stories of people. I love going back and trying to find information from the beginning of their growth journey. And so that's what I did with Mr. Beast. I went back and I started looking at some of his earlier videos, and they were not good. They were horrible. I think there was one video where he was going to count to like 1,000,000 or something like that. And he just, on video, he counted to 1,000,000. Was it a great video? No, it was a horrible video. But guess what? He was consistent. Every single day, he would upload a new video. He was making content like crazy. And what happened? Over the course of years, he became better at developing and making content. He started studying the YouTube algorithms and all these different things. And he's become an overnight success over time. Most people, when they want massive results in their life, they don't take ownership of this specific area. They are not being consistent. They're being inconsistent in what they're doing. Can I encourage you, if you want to have ownership of your life, if you want better results, if you want to enjoy life, find an area today to start being consistent in. It could be something as simple as waking up in the morning and brushing your teeth, making the bed, taking a shower, whatever it is. Make the decision to start being consistent. Number 3, on ways to take back ownership of your life. Be decisive. Be decisive. There are so many people that are indecisive. It's funny. My wife and I, when we go to get food, we will sit at the restaurant with the menus, and I'm not going to say who, but someone in our relationship likes to ask, what are you going to get? I don't know what I'm going to get yet, but if I know what you're going to get, then I'll get this. But if you don't get this, then I'll get this over here. But this also looks good over here. And we'll spend 30 minutes just trying to make a decision on what to eat. You know who you are listening to the podcast. And I'm not trying to dog on you. I get it. Sometimes you want to make the best decision in those moments. But can I encourage you that if you take too long, someone is going to make the decision for you. Someone's going to make that decision for you. If you don't make a decision, that's making a decision. It's making a decision to let someone else take control of your life and make the decision for you. If you don't make the decision, you give the decision to someone else and they make the decision for you, which may not be the right decision for you. So you have to make the decision so that you don't have to give the decision to someone else so that you don't get the wrong decision that is made. Catch that? So stop giving your decision to someone else. Be decisive. It's not the end of the world if you make a poor choice. In fact, one of the things that's great about a poor choice is you can learn from it. As long as you're learning and growing and developing yourself, you can learn. Indecision is a killer of creativity. Indecision is a killer of results. If you want better results in your life, you got to start being decisive. You could be something as simple as, in the morning, be decisive. Give yourself, 10 seconds to make the decision. Now, I'm not saying you have to be super decisive in every single area, right? Like if you're going to go make a decision on purchasing a house, take a little bit of time. Don't just go buy a house. Don't just buy a car. Do a little bit of research. But can I tell you this? The more you are decisive with the small things, the easier it'll be to be decisive with the big things. If you can't be good with the small things, you won't be good with the big things. Number 4, the last thing. I think this is the most important thing, and you're going to hear me talk about this a lot, but it's the way that we think. We need to change the way that we think. If we want to take ownership of our life, if we want better results, we have to start thinking differently. The results that you have had up until this point in your life, the reason that you are where you are, that you have the environment that you're in, that you have the income that you have, that you are in the relationship that you're in, the reason you have those things is because of the way you think. You think something, you ruminate on it, it becomes just an action, but that action over time becomes a habit, and that habit becomes destiny. And so we have to change the way that we think. This is the way that I'm starting to change the way I think. I want to go from renting to ownership to stewardship. Let me say that again. Going from renting to owning to stewardship. Most of you know, especially if you listen to the last podcast, that my wife and I, we moved recently. If you've ever been a renter and you've become a homeowner, there's this very big flip of a switch where you realize that you own it and you are responsible for everything. There's a mentality that comes with renting. And that mentality is, it starts off with, well, I don't really have to do anything. I don't really care because it's not mine. If something breaks, I'm just going to call the owner. I'm not going to take the onus of this. I'm going to give this to someone else. But then there's one point when you start looking around, you say, hey, you know what I really like? I don't like the walls. I don't like the color. I want to change the color of the walls. And what do? You start looking at how much it would cost and you say, no, I'm not going to pay that much for paint. I don't even own this place. And so you don't make the decision. You don't make the decision to paint the house because, well, you don't own it. Are you renting your life? Are you not making decisions going, well, I'm just in this stage of life and I don't really want to make that investment. I don't really want to spend time reading that. It's a nice day outside. I'm going to go outside and run around. I don't really want to read or write or reflect or think about what I want to do for my life. You see, a lot of people are renting their life. They don't take ownership of it. When you start taking ownership of it, when we started to fix our house up, when we bought it, it hurt. It hurt to purchase things. It was time intensive and laborious. But here's what I know is when we started to take ownership of the house, it became exciting. We started to dream of things that we could do with our house. When you take ownership of your life, you become excited. You start to think, what could I do with my life? How could I grow today to really make an impact? How could I become the best version of me today? Now, with ownership, though, there becomes a new kind of emotion that kind of sets in after a little bit of time. The emotion when it comes to renting is apathy. You kind of just don't care. It's not yours. When you move into ownership, at a certain point, you start to worry. You start to have anxiety about it. Like, oh, what if the roof is going to cave in? What if the floor falls out? What if I make the wrong decision? You start to have anxiety and you start to worry about your life. And that's not a good thing either. How do we move to the next stage? Well, the next stage is starting to steward. If you're not familiar with the word of stewardship, stewardship is essentially someone giving you control of something, but they are still in control of it. They're gifting it to you to take care of. If you believe, like I do, that God, in control of all things, gives you a life to live, what are you doing with it? Are you stewarding it well? Are you living it well? One of the things that I live my life by, one of the mantras, is to do all things with excellence before the Lord. And when I wake up in the morning, I want to do that. I set my intention that I'm going to do that. Now, does that happen all the time? Not always. But at the end of the day, here's what I can say, that I've done the best that I can with the things I've been given. I've done the best that I can with the things that I've been given. One of the most enlightening days of my life was the day that I started to realize this idea of stewardship and apply it to other aspects of my life, like my kids. There is no greater worry and anxiety about thinking of how your kids are going to turn out at the end. What if I make a decision wrong? What if I don't discipline them the right way? What if I don't speak to them the right way? Why do they keep doing all the wrong things and they keep mimicking me? And it was a wonderful day when I realized that I didn't have to be perfect, but I just had to do the best that I could. Because although I have stewardship over my kids, God owns my kids. God is the one in control of all things. And so at the end of the day, it's going to be me doing my best to point them back to Jesus. But am I stewarding them well? Am I just showing up and doing whatever I want, or am I being intentional in the way that I show up? Am I executing? Am I being consistent in front of him? Am I being decisive? You and I have an opportunity in front of us. We have the opportunity to take control of our growth, to change the results, to take control of the way that we think, to make things better in our life. Reflect on this last piece. Are you renting? Are you owning? Or are you stewarding your life right now? Could I encourage you? If you're renting, stop renting. You talk to anyone. Renting is a horrible investment. Now, if that's where you are and that's what you can afford, I guess that's okay. If we're talking about houses, that's okay. If we're talking about your life, you need to stop renting. At least own your life. At least go back through and say, you know what, the reason why I'm here is because I've made these decisions and I've thought this way. At least take ownership. But if you really want to see your life grow, if you want to see it compound, if you want to see an explosion of growth and results, start stewarding your life. Realize that God gave you everything that's in your life. The things that we might see are good, the things that we might deem as bad, all those things God gave to us for a reason. Whether that's to grow and improve from them, or whether it's to take them and to maximize them. As some people might say, 10x them. If you want to change the trajectory of your life, if you want to change the trajectory of your results, if you want to live a better life, if you want to be more than before, can I encourage you? Start executing, start being consistent, be decisive, and start stewarding your life. I know that this teaching has served you really well. I know you're going to stop renting, you're going to stop owning, you're going to start stewarding your life, which is going to be amazing. But can I ask you one last thing before we end today? Would you share this with a friend? There's someone in your life that could use what I just spoke today. So share it with a friend. It'll help me grow. It'll help you grow. And until next time, remember to be more, see more, and experience more than before.